from your news leader.
The fate of Erie School District is in the hands of its superintendent in midst of the financial crisis. We'll tell you what state representatives and the superintendent have to say about a possible closure.
A tragic scene as one man loses his life in a school bus accident in Harbor Creek. And a suspect in an Edinburgh murder investigation turns himself in to authorities.
Celebrating 50 years. Your news leader, Jet 24 Action News at 11.
Good evening.
A school district showdown is now down to an executive decision by Erie School Superintendent Jay Badams.
It's coverage of your schools tonight at 11. Erie School Board members met today and voted unanimously to give Superintendent Badams the authority to make a decision regarding what the school district needs in light of the budget impasse. According to Badams, he has three options: borrow $30 million to keep the doors open, ask faculty members to work without pay, or shut down. Board members also held an executive meeting with the district attorney to determine, or the district lawyer, to determine if there is any legal action they can take against the state over the effects of the budget impasse. And with that in mind, the state budget crisis has state lawmakers and Erie superintendent verbally sparring over what has or has not been said.
Yeah, it's new at 11 o'clock tonight. Jess Dowdrick talked to representatives and the Erie School District Superintendent. She joins us now live in the newsroom with much more on what they've had to say. Jess?
Sean and Jill, after $2 million in property taxes were paid to Erie School District late last week, according to Superintendent Dr. Jay Badams, the district can now operate through October 2nd financially. Then a decision will have to be made.
Because we have a lot of
The power is now solely in Erie School District Superintendent Dr. Jay Badams' hands. Will the district borrow money? Will faculty work for free? Or will the district shut its doors? The decision has been delayed, but ultimately will still be made without a resolved state budget. State representatives say 30 other districts in the state are facing the same problems as Erie.
But I want to assure the taxpayers that we're doing all that we can for them. I would pretty much guarantee them 100% the schools are not going to close and students will graduate on time next June.
Another Erie County state representative is calling Erie School District's threat to close their doors a scare tactic.
These scare tactics are simply not going to work. And I think that the Superintendent Badams should be using another tactic to really drive home his point instead of doing this to the employees and the students and families of the city of Erie School Districts.
Dr. Badams says that's an absolute insult.
The suggestion that I'm using scare tactics or playing a game is an insult. It's an insult not to me. It's an insult to our children. It's an insult to our taxpayers, and it's an insult to our school board.
And Badams says they shouldn't have to take out a loan when their money is sitting in Harrisburg.
If that's the best answer that our lawmakers have, is to take a loan, who pays that loan? Even if the Commonwealth reimburses the school district for the cost of that money, the taxpayers are still ultimately the ones who are paying the interest on loans.
Bizzaro says the ball is in Dr. Badams' court to do what he called the right thing until the budget is passed. Now, last October, Erie School District brought in $12 million in taxes. They're hoping to do the same thing this year. If they do, they'll be able to operate through the end of October, but taxes aren't due until April, so that money is not guaranteed. Sean?
Well, now, Jess, I know you talked about October 2nd being the next key date. What does it cost the school district to operate in a pay period?
It costs them $3 million, and that's without them paying their vendors that they owe over $8 million to currently.
All right, thank you, Jess.
A man is killed after crashing into the back of a Harbor Creek Township school bus. Happened about 7:30 this morning. A red cargo van driving in the 7500 block of Station Road crashed into the back of a Harbor Creek Township bus that was headed to St. Luke Elementary School. The driver of the van, 54-year-old John Heater, died on impact from the crash. State police say there was no evidence of the driver trying to brake the vehicle.
That van crashed because sun was in that person's eye, and then I boom, crashed.
The sun may have played a factor in this crash because it doesn't show at this time that there was any braking on the part of the van itself. So the school bus was stopped and the van may not have seen it stopped and went right directly into the back of the school bus.
4 students and the driver of the bus were taken to the hospital with neck and back pain, but all students on the bus were safe.
A man allegedly connected to an Edinburgh murder turns himself into police. It's continuing coverage tonight at 11. Michael Barron from Pittsburgh went to the Edinburgh Police Department to turn himself in this morning in connection with a deadly shooting last November just off the Edinburgh University campus. The victim, Tobiah Johnson, died from a single gunshot wound to his abdomen. Police say they're urging a second suspect to also now turn himself in.
And there's currently a warrant for Brian Andrews from the city of Pittsburgh in connection with this homicide. We do urge Mr. Andrews to turn himself in to the Edinburgh Borough Police Department.
Barron was taken before a district justice today to be arraigned.
An Erie man charged with allegedly stabbing another man pleads guilty today. 21-year-old Taiwan Jones is accused of stabbing a 28-year-old on March 7th outside the Knotty Pine on Buffalo Road. This morning, Jones was scheduled to appear for trial, but instead a plea agreement was made. The judge dismissed 6 charges, and Jones pled guilty to aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Jones will be sentenced on November 12th. The highest-ranking Pennsylvania law enforcement officer no longer has a valid law license. This comes after the state Supreme Court suspended the law license of Pennsylvania Attorney General Kathleen Kane. Kane came under fire on suspicions she leaked secret investigations and then lied about it under oath. The suspension is temporary as the case proceeds. A law license, though, is required by state law to hold the job. Critics have used the suspension to call for Kane's resignation.
More than 500 area high school students get a much closer look at how government and business work. It was all part of the 2015 Government Outreach Day at Penn State Barron today. A number of area businesses sponsored the event, along with 5th District U.S. Congressman Glenn Thompson. The idea is to teach the kids at an early age how government works, and it also allows the congressman a chance to talk to some of his younger constituents.
We bring a cross-section with government, with business, with education, and it's just a great day. It's a great opportunity for me to spend some time and talking with all these students.
Along with Penn State Barron, other government outreach days took place at Lock Haven University and the University of Pittsburgh at Branford. What can small business owners do locally to help compete in a tough marketplace? A group of those owners got together at Gannon Small Business Development Center today, learning some of the answers. The group heard about ways to convince shoppers to buy local and pool resources more effectively. The event was designed to be quick and to the point because a lot of these people can't afford to be away from their businesses.
As a business owner, you're really running your business 24/7, so you need the information to be successful in a compact way. So we're providing the seminar in a 2-hour sections, one in the morning, one in the afternoon.
The group learning today that retail sales are actually growing in Erie, but local owners still face tough competition from well-financed national chains.
Coming up on Jet 24 Action News, it's deja vu as a communist regime is visited by a pontiff who speaks the native language with a message of service. Well, that story more after Tom's forecast. Tom, beautiful weather we're seeing, and it's going to continue.
Absolutely, Jill. We might even string this one right through the end of the month. We'll talk about that, have your trivia, and more pretty pictures right after the break.
You're watching Sean Lafferty, Jill McCormick, meteorologist Tom Atkins, and Craig Smiley with sports. This is Jet 24 Action News, your news leader.